Okay, lastly, we're going to move on to vectors के dot product and cross product and some final things about vectors. This will be the last video of this course, but make sure to keep on practicing and आप लोग जो quiz available है उनको ज़रूर solve कीजिएगा. Okay, so dot product is represented by, for example, अगर हमारे पास u और v vectors हैं तो u dot v होगा, and in formula form it is the magnitude of u and v multiplied by cos theta. Theta is the angle between the two vectors. It's pretty simple. Same goes for cross product, but the difference is it is sin theta and it has an n hat vector. तो अगर हम u का मैग्नीट्यूड और v का मैग्नीट्यूड मल्टीप्लाई बाय sin थीटा कर लेंगे और उसको मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे विद n hat which is the normal vector का यूनिट वेक्टर, that will give us the cross product of two vectors. इन आर केस हमें पता होना चाहिए क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट में हमने राइट हैंड रूल लगाना होता है. राइट हैंड रूल के बारे में आप लोग यूट्यूब वीडियो जरूर देख लेना, बिकॉज इट इज़ ए समवट कंफ्यूजिंग कॉन्सेप्ट और इसको एक इस तरह की वीडियो में एक्सप्लेन करना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है. हाउएवर आई ट्राई एंड डू माई बेस्ट. आपने अपने राइट हैंड की जो फिंगर्स होंगी उनको डायरेक्शन ऑफ फर्स्ट वेक्टर टू सेकंड वेक्टर कर्ल करना है, एंड द डायरेक्शन ऑफ योर थंब विल गिव द डायरेक्शन ऑफ द एन हैट वेक्टर. सो अगर ए क्रॉस बी है देन ए टू बी आपने अपनी फिंगर्स को कर्ल करना है, एंड योर थंब विल बी द डायरेक्शन ऑफ the normal vector, which in this case is going towards the screen. And then we have arguably, in my opinion, the most important part of this entire chapter, जो हमें बताता है कि हमारे पास unit vectors के cross products और dot products क्या होते हैं. There is an entire formula wheel for this, so again do try and google this, but आपको बताता हूँ जिस तरह मैंने सीखा था, which is purely conceptually. अगर हमारे पास एक dot product given of I and I are two unit vectors in the same direction, therefore the angle between them will be 0. And we know that cos 0 is equals to 1. So the dot product of I and I will be 1. In another sense, अगर हमारे पास दो चीज़ों का cross product given है, for example I cross I given है, then we know that they are in the same direction and sin 0 is 0. So I cross I will be 0. Next, if you have I cross j given, then remember the right hand rule. If we curl the fingers from I to j, then we'll get the positive k direction wala unit vector. So that's what we mean by dot and cross product. Keep in mind directions kis tarah kaam karti hain. That will be very helpful for your NET. Again, this chapter is pretty conceptual. You have to imagine vectors in 3D space. तो मैं अब आपको एक और चीज़ समझाता हूँ which will help you in other MCQs. अब this is related to what geometrical sense में dot product and cross product actually are. So if we have two vectors of cross product, then we have then in geometrical form we have the area that is encompassed by the parallelogram जो कि in two vectors से बनता है. So that is the cross product of two vectors. And if we have the cross product of two vectors and the dot product of another vector, then this will give us the volume of a 3D parallelogram. अगर हमने एक parallelogram बनाया u cross v से, then if we extend it in the z vector की direction में, and that will make it into a 3D structure. And that 3D structure का volume will give us the geometrical way of representing u cross v dot z. And next, थोड़ी सी intuitively अगर हम सोचें तो जो हमारे पास cross product है simple, वो एक parallelogram को बताता है, तो half of that will be the area of a triangle, because the half of the area of a parallelogram is the area of a triangle. And lastly, the 1/6 the volume of a 3D parallelogram will give us a tetrahedron. So that is a shape which is made by dividing a 3D parallelogram into 6, and it's called tetrahedron. आप इसकी जो actual images हैं वो Google पे search कर लें, and that is what is meant by taking 1/6 of a cross product and a dot product का combination.